So, you just sat down to watch a movie about rock climbing in the Midwest. If you're here by accident, it's not too late to leave. But maybe you're here because you're also a Midwest climber, or you're just here to support someone you know. But maybe you don't know what to expect. Just like me, when I decided to move into this crowded apartment with two guys who I barely even knew. And if that's the case, then congrats. Because sometimes, I think you find the most special things in the places you least expect. But if you're a Midwest climber, then you already know that. Our journey through the Midwest begins here, with two best friends who have an idea. Give the camera an introduction about who you are, maybe in relation to your climbing and geographic
I'm
location.
already regretting this. I don't want to do this. Can someone else do this?
Hear it.
Hi, I'm Dakota Walls. I'm a rock climber from North Dakota.
It's quick, shuffling your feet around in the leaves.
Hi, I'm...
Tell the camera who you are and what your role is in the project.
My name is Matthew Eckelberg. My role as the photographer is just to document the walls, get nice pictures. I also made a trail.
And we're writing North Dakota's first rock climbing guidebook. And we're writing North Dakota's first guidebook for rock climbing. And we're writing a guidebook for the North Dakota's first rock climbing experiences. We're writing a guidebook for North Dakota rock climbing. And we're writing...
The art that goes in the photo, that doesn't... I mean, I guess it was...
Why do you need money to make a guidebook?
Because we don't have any. Crack your neck. The reason this project is so important is because that's terrible. I don't know. I can't figure out why it's important. I don't think it's important. It's not important. Who gives a fuck? Go to Colorado. I don't know.
Go to South Dakota.
Yeah, go to South Dakota. I don't know. I don't think it's important. It's important to me. I don't know. Why is it important to me?
Yeah.
It's important to us because it's our home. It's where we're from. It's the middle of nowhere. And when you live in the middle of nowhere and you're surrounded by people that you can't relate to, it's nice to know that you have an oasis and you have somewhere where you can get out into the backcountry and be a rock climber.
So the local crew, along with some of the Fargo crew, got really excited about exploring some boulders around Square Butte.
And we were all kind of like walking around exploring, and Chris Steele was like, hey, we should go like check out this rad boulder over here. We all came down there and we were just gawking at this awesome like splitter roof crack. And we all like immediately hopped on it and just got like worked by this problem.
Now, a lot of times when people say roof crack, it's really just like an overhung, crack that's like really short or something. So I was really, really skeptical, but they started showing photos of Chris, who actually found the crack. He's like, boom, got all 4 points in, like this massive roof with no side of the beginning and no side of the end. And I'm just thinking, holy shit, we have to see this. So we meet up with Dustin, and he's like, all right, let's go check this out. So he takes us on this winding loop kind of around the butte and off in the grass. And you see all these big boulders up on the left side. I'm like, oh, it's definitely up there. This is going to be awesome. These look way more promising than I thought. And then so I kind of start walking up that way, and then Dustin veers off this way. It's like, oh, I thought we were going to go to the good stuff. He's like, no, it's down here. And he points toward like this like small, like shitty little bushel of boulders and kind of like some like trees and stuff. I was like, all right, and then at this point I'm thinking like, whoa, okay, this is not as good as it looked in the photos. And we kind of hike, and we kind of go down this weird area and we sink down, and then you look up and it's just like, whoa. beautiful, beautiful, beautiful splitter crack.
Such kind of a unique boulder, how it just, you know, landed here perfectly, and the crack is just perfect, and even has like this nice orange rock that's like harder where it's split almost.
The thing is like almost 15, 16 feet long, and it's dead horizontal. It's perfect. And then at the end of it, boom, a perfect 90-degree lip that goes straight up for another like 8 to 10 feet. Absolutely splitter, absolutely gorgeous, bulletproof sandstone. I can't believe what I'm seeing.
Like, I've probably been out here, this is like my 8th or 9th time coming out here and climbing on this.
Nice.
And just like every time I was like, oh, should have been doing my pull-ups more.
No one's been able to climb it yet. Dustin has been working this thing like a madman.
I climbed that so much and cleaned that, and like went out and just tried it over and over again. Really pushed myself. Like no project ever really pushed me before. I'm
so psyched that this thing even exists. But to have the chance to be the first person to climb it is like I'm like a dog. Like just like my mouth is watering. I'm bloodthirsty. I want this thing so bad. But Dustin brought us out here. Dustin's been working on it. He definitely has first dibs to go for it if he thinks he can get it.
Obviously, everyone wants to get the FAA because it's, you know, it's cool. You're like, yeah, it's the first one.
Dustin, after like maybe 20 minutes of like doing his ritual and getting in the zone, he's ready to do it.
Oh, dang, the glove tape works too good.
Get stuck in there?
My parents came here with me once, and they're like, what if you get stuck in there and you can't get out? And I was like, that'd be nice, because basically I'm really fighting to hold on the whole time I'm doing this, so
it's optimal to get stuck in there.
yeah, for sure.
All right, brother. I'm gonna get the pad in there, spotting him, and he just like flies to the roof, boom, 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 and he gets to the lip, which, you know, typically in any climb is like the crux. Come on, yeah, tight, good. And he's like, bah, he's fighting, he's getting in there, his feet are way out. You're good, come on, good, breathe. Nice. Good breath. Come on. Good. Keep it on. You're good. Nice. Come on, Dustin.
Yeah.
Come on. Come on. Get up. Good. He's thrusting. He's pulling, and like I'm like, dude, he's gonna send this. Yep, come on.
Oh, no.
You're good.
I'll give him. Oh man, I can tell even just yesterday. So much try hard.
You could tell he's pretty bummed. But I was like, all right, hey, no problem, man. Like, you got super close. I think if you change a few things, like, you'll be able to send it. And he's like, no, you don't understand. Like, that was every ounce of energy I had. Like, there's no way I can go again. Like, why don't you give it a try? And on the inside, I'm like, yes, 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 yes. But on the outside, I'm like, no, man, like, are you sure? Like, I really think you should go again. You, like, cruise the bottom section. You pulled the lip. Like, I think you should do it again. He's like, no, just go for it. You can give it a shot. You know, I'm not going to work too hard to my disadvantage. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll give it a shot. I get on the pedestal and I put my hands in the thing. It's like, holy shit, this thing is wide. I got little baby hands, and it starts out with like big fists, and I'm like rattling through fists. I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna send this, but I really want it, so I'm just gonna do first ascent powers, like going all in. So boom, get my fists in there, and they're kind of rattly, so I just kind of like twist them a little bit to kind of lock them in a little bit tighter.
Good, looking good.
Get the feet in, and I'm kind of just like slowly working across the roof, and I get to the lip, and there's like, I can see there's like one hand jam at the lip that's like perfect, but it's way up there, and it's more natural to hit it palm side out, but I know that I want to hit it palm side in so I can pull it straight up. So I'm sitting that thing, and I'm like, And I flutch up and I, bah! Karate chop! And then boom, perfect hand jam. Stand up and get out like a really, really tight, kind of slidey, like skatey hand jam in there. And I finally find some like tiny little like lichen-filled nubbin over here that will give me a little bit of purchase. And I stand up on that guy. And boom. Just the money, perfect finger locks. Hit that thing, 2 steps up, boom, the top, topped out. The best problem in North Dakota.
Yeah, dude! Woo!
The best rock climb in the upper Midwest. Absolutely fucking amazing. 5 stars anywhere in the world.
So good.
Everyone was pretty stoked, but it was kind of bittersweet because Dustin, he's such a nice dude and he's super stoked, but he also really wanted that.
I was like, oh man, it'd be great to get the FA, but it just became like, I feel, really privileged to be like a part of developing it and working on it and like sharing it with the community. And I'll be working on it. I'm gonna get it soon, so yeah, stoked.
That's type 2. Type 3 is like, we're gonna die.
It's only fun.
Oh, that was a big one.
It was windy.
It's the world of Peter Rabbit and Friends, premiering next on the Family Channel.
The actual tour guide came up. Can I help you? No.
What do you want to tell the future us?
We are gonna be so happy and have so many dogs.
No, I mean, don't lie to them. They already know that
We're not gonna be happy?
They already know that we don't have dogs. Tell them just a message.
What kind of message? What I want future me to be like, or
Yeah.
I want me to still have fabulous hair. That's it. That's
it?
the only thing. That's the only thing
you
I'm
need?
hoping for myself.
I'd like to start off by saying that Jasmine hasn't hit the record button.
Where is it?
Maybe you have actually. The light is on, but I don't.
Anytime somebody's like, what are you doing with the book? I'm like, oh, well, I'm the designer and I'm the publisher. So they're like, oh, so you're just laying it out. And they make it sound like, oh, well, like, why is it taking you guys 2 years to do this project? Well, making sure everything makes sense and flows really well, I think it's something that people don't notice how long that takes. There have been a lot of guidebooks out there that have not been super user-friendly or cohesive and doesn't flow well, so a lot of people end up not using it, and we want people to use Northern Beauty to open up the door to adventure in the Midwest. It should be very seamless and look like it didn't take any effort. So making sure that it looks effortless takes hundreds of hours to do for a full book. It's a little bit stressful when I can't come up on the trips with everybody because we all work different schedules and it just doesn't work out. But I mean, overall, as long as we communicate really well beforehand and I give Matt everything I need, like, I need you to shoot this, this, and this, I need it from this angle, or I'm telling Dakota, like, hey, make sure you contact that landowner when you're up there. Being the project manager in that sense is, as long as we're communicating, it works out really well, and it's not too big of a deal being home doing it when they're 10 hours north doing it up there.
The first time I met Jasmine was when she was still living in Kansas City with Dakota. I didn't really know anything about Missouri at the time, but I had heard plenty of stories.
Kansas City climbing community is more psyched than any climbing community I've ever seen, and I live in Denver, so that's saying a lot. The climbing guidebook for Missouri is called Mo Beta by Jeremy Collins. Came out, I think, last year, 2015, 2016. Came out recently. It's really good. Jer's always been one of my really big idols in the creative sense. I was his intern for about 6 months, and seeing all of his vision into the projects he does, and then having kind of our own project, Mo Beta was kind of our standard of what we wanted to live up to.
The Missouri Climbing Guidebook came out while our crew was working on the North Dakota book. Jasmine grew up just outside of Kansas City, so one day I asked her to show me around some of the climbing of her home state.
So in the Kansas City area where I'm from, there's Cliff Drive, which is the only crag within the immediate city limits. It's like 7 minutes from downtown. It's limestone, it's short, it's dirty. But, I mean, if you live downtown, you don't want to drive 5 hours to Arkansas, it's in your backyard. If you go down to southern Missouri, there's been kind of like a sandstone renaissance down there right now. So Monegas Springs is over there, Raven Rocks, both sandstone, both super solid climbing, really Arkansas style. And then there's stuff in like the Columbia area, so Andromeda, which I believe is limestone, but don't quote me on that. There's some deep water soloing over in Turkey Creek. So a lot of really good variation throughout the state and what you're looking for. A lot of really good things for anybody who's just starting to people who are really good climbers, really strong, 5'12" and up. There's good stuff out there.
I can look at a picture of a wall that I'm looking at and still not. Like, that does not look the same at all.
I try to look at stuff that's on the ground.
So James is my younger brother. He started climbing, I think, when he was in high school. And just kind of blew everybody's minds because at first he was that really awkward kid, like didn't know how to use his feet, and like within 2-3 months he was running up 12s, warming up on stuff that people couldn't even climb. Like as their projects, he would just do it in tennis shoes. And then he became a national competitor, just held his own, which is really, really interesting for somebody who's coming from the Midwest and competing on a national level with people from places like Colorado and Utah and Texas, California, where all the big names are coming out of.
So Cliff Drive's a local climbing crag. It's a small little limestone crag. A lot of hard stuff on it, I'd say. And it's not really in the best location. There's a lot of weird traffic that goes through there, some sketchy people, but in general it's a nice place to kind of change up your climbing scene, so you don't always have to be in the gym. You have that option of going into the city and climbing.
Sticks are bad this season.
The next day, we headed to Monaga Springs to meet up with another local climber.
My name is Ryan Surface. I've been climbing for maybe about 10 years now. I identify strongly as being a Midwestern climber. It's something I'm, I guess you'd say, proud of.
Ryan Surface is a big name in the Kansas City climbing community. Super strong guy, really good at developing stuff, has a good vision for lines.
I guess as a climber, recently I've been getting into the development thing, and kind of out here in the Midwest, you know, there's still kind of these uncharted little pieces of rock and all these locations that nobody's been to yet, or maybe not very many people have been to. So I decided, I was looking around and looking for routes to put up, and I saw another roof. And as I'm kind of going under the roof, I see that there's 2 pitons in the rock, and there was a rusted, it was a coffee tin that had been unrolled, and then letters were stamped into it. And it actually had the first ascent information of some guys that aided this route in 1979. Anyway, these guys had done this climb that they called Montezuma's Revenge, and it said that they had aided out under the roof. So I kind of thought, hey, it'd be really cool to try and turn this into a free climb. And you know, eventually climbed it at at about the grade of 12D, and it was really neat to kind of, you know, people always talk about in like Yosemite, you know, they go and they free these old aid lines that, you know, can now be freed, something like Never Never Land on El Cap, or, you know, something people are working on. So that was a really cool experience to do something that somebody had aided way back when at this completely off the beaten path place. And I think that's really neat that's kind of, you know, out here, not everything's been picked over. You know, for the people who are looking for adventure, it can still be found out here in the Midwest, these scrappy little crags.
on, Ryan. Come on. Come on.
You can lay down.
So, in this part of Missouri, it's kind of, oh shit. So there's some wasp right there, wisp.
Do you want to get out of here?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, dang.
So I really think this crag's special just because of the style of climbing here. A lot of it's really overhung. Here in the Midwest, most of our stuff's kind of vertical or slab, and that's not really what I climb. I'm used to Red River Gorge climbing, just really tall, really steep. So this kind of reminds me of the Red River Gorge, just really steep, fun climbing.
Not for many people had climbed here, and it's kind of funny that it was just right under our noses this whole time, you know, just a couple hours from our house, and there's all these other crags in the area, but for some reason nobody had come out here. So I think there's definitely a lot of exploring still to be done here. You know, it's just up to the people to go out and find it.
Now, it's not rocket science. Skinny key, turn it.
Well, I was gonna throw the longer key that looks skinnier because it's longer.
Fat key. No. That's definitely a skinny key. Put them next to each other.
Is it?
Put them next.
Is it
No.
this skinny?
No. Turn the other way. Okay.
Oh, that's skinny.
No. This is fat. Put them next to each other. You'll see. You just put them next to each other. Do you see which one is fat? Which one's skinny?
That's fat. That's skinny.
Are you fucking kidding
I'm looking
me?
right here.
No. Look at the tip. Look at the tip.
Oh, you're looking at the tip. Oh.
Well, this one is even.
That's fat. That's skinny.
Just as fat. This one.
I'm looking at that or that.
All of it in general as one skinny part. The other one is all skinny.
No, you gotta argue this because
it's the fat one.
Okay, this one then.
You picked the wrong one. Let me see what you picked.
It's that one.
You picked the wrong one.
That's the skinny one.
No.
No.
I'm driving.
No, forget. That's Jonathan. Would you say which one's skinny or fat?
Skinny is.
That's what I'm saying too.
We are going to Sentinel Butte's obscure backside that hasn't been checked out yet. We just kind of saw it just kind of on a whim. Last time we were through, we took a bunch of photos from really far away, and the formations look really, really great, but it's at such a low elevation compared to all the other good rock that we're kind of expecting it to be especially shitty, dusty, trashy rock. Like, my big fear is all those really sweet looking pocket formations you can see down the way are made from like swallows and meadowlarks because the rock is so sandy they just dig out holes for their nests.
When the sun is smiling, it makes me want to sing.
Or the snakes.
The world is brighter when I see the possibilities. So come along with me, let's find something new. No one knows what's waiting just around the bend. So
Yeah, garbage here.
find out how to have a happy end. Come along with me, let's find something new. Come along with me, time to find something new. La da 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 da, something new with you. La da 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 da, something new, something new. All is well when I'm not worrying about
Everything.
What? No, dude, it's fine.
That makes it worse. Don't do that.
But you were blowing on it earlier.
Was it not?
Yeah, I was watching you. You had a little thing and you're going ch-ch-ch-ch.
Come along with me, let's do something new.
Damn, dude. This corner is fucking nuts. We hiked around for the better part of a morning, trying to find us a lick of solid stone out there. Couldn't find anything until we found this one corner on this one satellite butte. This beautiful, like,
boom, splitter corner, like laser cut, like tight hands to like big fingers. Beautiful route.
We were psyched.
And normally, since it's only like 20 feet, 25 feet tall or so, I wouldn't invest all the time in like getting like the climbing gear, probably just like run up it quick and not waste anyone's time. But the sand is like, did I say sand? The rock is really sandy. Like that's how sandy it is. I didn't know if I should call it sand or rock. And I'm not 100% certain that I can trust my feet on this one.
I don't even know where this is going.
So we rack up, get the gear, and I grab a .5 and I put it in the crack. I clip a long sling into it and I start bounce testing it.
Oh.
Okay, so no whippers. So I put on twice as many cams as I normally would, and you know, let Matt know that we're ready to party, and gives me the green light and we go for it.
On play. In my mind, it's edited like this. Like you got footage of us like gearing up and like, you know, like we look at the camera like, yeah, we're super stoked for this climb, and then it cuts to me and I'm like, on belay, and then you cut into like a montage of climbing. He's so stupid.
It ends up being like crazy sandy. Like I'm trying to smear or edge or get like any tiny little piece of anything on the right side of the wall, and it's just like just skating. Like I'm leaving like marks in the wall from like skating my feet across them. And I'm like jam my hands in, I'm getting just past the knuckles, and I got thin hands, but I can still just, my fingers are rattling, I can just barely get my knuckles in there. I'm like sawing my hands in deeper, like get in there.
Oh yeah, he was foot jamming and hand jamming a lot.
It ends up being a really, really great climb nonetheless, and you know, I mean, it'd be great if it made the book, but I'm not going to put an X route or a shitty top rope route in the middle of nowhere so people can climb one thing, but it was stellar. So maybe like hidden something, or something about a corner. A corner. No? That'd be a good name for an X route. Is that you? That's me. Yeah, bud. Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
Dude, you're fucking fighting right now, dude.
We didn't get a lot done for the guidebook, but that trip we had just a ton of fun, just hanging out.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was hard.
You alright, brother?
That'd be so fucking scary to beat that. But I think every trip has like a special moment, so I can think back to every trip that we took, and there's always, you know, a highlight and there's also a low point, but I think the highlights always outweigh the low points that the trips were. And I think just being out there and being so free and kind of doing whatever you want is really, really special.
You can see Square from here really, really well.
Yeah. We were really close to Wixkakawea, so we decided to try to find a spot to go swimming at.
Out of the entire day of everything we found and didn't find, like just getting to spend the day, you know, away from absolutely everyone and everything with my couple of my best friends, just hanging out in the lake, drinking beers, was worth the entire day of finding shit.
So I think those like little moments that, I mean, I'm always gonna have that kind of stuff, and like when I look back at everything we've done, like stuff like that is always gonna be the highlight of that summer, and you know, of my life, I guess, too.
And that's kind of what North Dakota's, their flavor is, you know, like you're gonna get a lot of disappointment, but the days that you do get the good stuff is gonna make it a lot more special and memorable. So the next morning we wake up, rejuvenated, new life, new day, sun comes up, new power. And so we're going on this really wide gravel road, and all of a sudden come. I'm like, what the fuck was that? Like Matt literally swerved into the way of the one rock in all of like the nice gravel, the one actual rock.
So no, yeah, on paper again, yes, I hit a rock with my car, but I started swerving away, but then I realized I couldn't swerve away in time enough, so then I bring it back over so it goes underneath my car, because that was the only way to make it, you know, to avoid it. But I didn't get over there quick enough, so then yeah, I did run it over.
And both of his passenger side tires are flat. And in my head, I'm thinking, you're like, well, this is why we don't swerve and run over stones, you know, like if you don't want flat tires, like, don't run over stupid shit.
I mean, I could have been driving on the other side of the road, yeah, but I was kind of zoning out when I was driving because I was tired. And then I had to listen to Jonathan Dakota talk about, I don't know, Pokemon or something, because I think that was when Pokemon was huge. So I don't know, that's not all my fault. For the record, I'll blame Dakota on this one. I'll blame him.
So we don't know if he's coming today.
No. I said that we were stuck out here. Like, he's definitely coming today.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
But we just don't know if it's gonna be this morning, this afternoon.
He said that they were having a busy day, so.
They were?
They weren't.
He didn't say that.
He didn't say that, but the dude is just like.
What card are you looking for?
Let's make sure we have a full deck.
Well, we have 2 decks right here.
I know, and this is a scrambled deck.
Right, but they're with the same. They're both between this deck and your deck.
We have 1 deck. I know.
We have 2 decks.
I know.
We need 2 decks to play the game.
For Go Fish?
We're not playing Go Fish.
Matt said we're playing Go Fish.
Are you fucking? I'm not playing Go Fish. What are you looking for, Jonathan?
My sorrow. Everyone I call, I tell them my size and need, and they're like,
really?
They're like, oh, good luck finding that one. I hate everything in my life. Oh, sorry.
Matt is so bummed right now.
It's gonna get worse for him.
Maybe he shouldn't have hit the rock.
How hard is it not to hit a rock? I realize it's a gravel road, and the whole road's made out of rocks.
Just don't hit the big one.
Yeah, well, you hit all of them except for like 5.
Let's get out of here.
Look at that shit.
Look at that shit, yeah. Yeah, fuck you.
And then he'd be like, dude, you want to have sex with my daughter?
Wait, here we go.
Today's gonna be the day that I'm gonna throw back to you.
By now you should have somehow realized what you gotta do. I don't believe that anybody.
I'm gonna throw up soon. You gonna throw up soon?
We're gonna have done this trip and put up 1 new route, and it's gonna be a 0-star obscure route. It's gonna be like a 0-star death route that no one's gonna climb.
And it was the most expensive trip we've had.
Yeah. Oh, it was the best weather we've had too. It's the best, by far the best weather.
The route's name, the most expensive route in the world.
I have to be home by 10.
You got 3.5 minutes, Holmes.
Yeah, dog. You better fucking get home.
That's what I saw when I was in Miami.
I never want to go back to Watford City unless I absolutely have to, but it sucked.
I grew up in Michigan, and because of that, rock climbing was never really on my radar. But like most other Midwest climbers I know, I still felt that call to adventure that I couldn't really explain. My friends and I would try to answer that call by pulling dumb stunts on bikes and sleds. You know, typical Midwest redneck stuff. But it wasn't until I went off to college that I finally discovered rock climbing at the sandy crag of Grand Ledge. Honestly, even by Midwest standards, Grand Ledge isn't that great of a crag. It's got a handful of top rope routes, but for us living in the middle of Michigan, it's everything. For the longest time, I thought that Grand Ledge was the only climbing in Michigan. After I finished up with college, I moved out to Colorado to take an unpaid internship with some big shot filmmakers. And it was while I was out on a shoot with these guys that I met Dakota Walls, who at the time was pretending to be in a rock band called Shred All Fear. It was him and this creep named Corbin, and they would just go out to rock climbs and pretend to be like 80s rockers.
Party time USA forever!
To be honest, Dakota, I'm still not sure what that was all about.
This is for you, models! I love you!
And after we wrapped up filming, Dakota and I became best friends, and he invited me to sleep on the futon of the apartment that he shared with Matt Eckelberg. And that's kind of how the crew came together, and that's the start of Upham Life.
What do you think, boys?
But as I was spending all this time with Matt and Dakota working on this project about their home state, it really got me wondering, like, did I miss anything in Michigan? As it turns out, I did.
My name is Vincent McLean. I'm 22 years old and I'm a mechanical engineering student at Michigan Tech. And I'm currently writing a rock climbing guidebook for the state of Michigan.
I pretty much came across Vincent by accident when I was doing my research on climbing in Michigan. As I found out, the Upper Peninsula actually has tons of climbers and developers and entire communities dedicated to climbing in the state.
I'd say the best way to describe a passionate Michigan climber, I think the best word to encompass everything would be dedicated. If you really, are interested in climbing and you're up here, you got to be willing to work to head out to these remote locations in order to climb.
When I found out that Vincent was making his own guidebook, I asked if I could come up and visit him and check out some of the local climbing.
So the best way to describe a mountain is to imagine you're walking through any sort of Michigan forest, lots of trees and stuff. And all of a sudden this huge, clean, probably 150-foot wall just rises out from the forest floor and extends on your left and right 100 feet either way.
It's a lot of fun. It's pretty relaxed, I mean, just we're we're both more just psyched to be out climbing than worrying about how hard we're climbing or how good the rock is or things like that.
Small one. The vast majority of climbers we have up here are associated with the colleges. Northern Michigan and Michigan Tech provide the, I guess, largest population of climbers up here. It's really interesting, I guess, how much engineering combines with climbing. All your climbing gear needs to be designed properly to essentially not kill you. On my own, I've undertaken a couple of engineering-related climbing projects. 2 summers ago, I started designing a portal edge, and during the summer, the following summer, I fabricated that and tested it out. It's pretty sketchy, but it's comparable in terms of strength and portability to anything that's on the market right now.
Have you ever filmed big wall climbers before?
So we're at the north end of the area. This is one of my favorite routes. It just follows this kind of slabby face up here along the left side. It's a 135-foot sport route, one of the few sport routes we have up here.
Here's a fun fact about Michigan climbing. For someone who lives in the Detroit or Lansing area, it's actually quicker to drive all the way to the Redding, Kentucky than it is to drive up to Houghton, Michigan. But as I watched Vincent climb that 5'7" slab route on a short cliff overlooking my home state, I felt that irrational sense of belonging that's so familiar to Midwest climbers. Having that same smell of autumn air that you grew up with, hearing the sound of the wind through Michigan leaves. This is my home, and no matter how much I travel, no matter where I go, nowhere else is ever going to feel like Michigan does to me. I think that any climber who lives in Michigan needs to make a trip to Leopard Peninsula to see what their state has to offer. Not because it's such amazing or sensational climbing, but because it's home.
So it kind of seems like this is eating. You know, like that was just. Obviously, I'm not sexually attracted to men.
So we set the date. We got as many people as we could together in one place, and I checked the weather, and it's just like this gigantic block of rain. Like it looks like it's gonna be raining all day for the entire 4 days that we're gonna be there. So we have people like all migrating to this one spot just to like hang out in the rain all weekend. It sucks knowing like that we're gonna be investing all this time and money to go like meet up and just not to get to climb. Like it's a climbing trip where it's the first meeting for a climbing coalition and we're not gonna do any climbing. So I have some meeting points in no order whatsoever, so I'm just gonna rally them off whatever seems fit. Purpose of the NDCC. This is less of a point and more of a question. What do you think the purpose of the North Dakota Climbers Coalition is?
Yeah, I guess I was like kind of anticipating some of the drive.
Yeah, it was like 4 and 8. The meeting lasted a lot longer than I anticipated. Everyone had a lot of opinions and a lot of good input, and we got a lot kind of situated for the future ways. But I'm glad I picked the worst weekend of the year. Yeah.
Hey, Steve. Hiya, fine. Well, riding over, you boys see any sign of rain?
Justin mentioned, like, maybe check out the ice caves, like, see if there's anything that just kind of skipped over, like, with no matter what, I want to put in the book, even if there isn't any climbing, because it'd be a fun, like, rainy day, nice activity.
So everyone is not stoked the next morning because we know it's super shitty out. It's been raining all night. It's super soaking outside. There's no exploring you're going to be doing that's going to be any kind of fun. It's going to be just purely miserable. I think Dustin suggested, well, you know, we can't do any climbing, but we can go hike around the ice caves. Like, there's rocks out there, but we can't. There's no climbing anyway, so we'll just go hike around.
Both of his tires are fucking blown out because he hit the only rock in the road.
So yes, I did hit it. I can't deny it.
It was weird. We're like, you're walking through a grass field, and then it's almost like, well, you know, hold on, stop, because like suddenly there's a cliff line.
Yeah, that's fucking tight, dude.
I just couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Everyone started getting excited, like running around, like, oh, check this out, check that out, or like, whoa, down over there, like, you think that's where the cave is? Like, it went from like being a total waste to, you know, actually getting to do something and participate. And for a lot of the group, it was their first time getting to experience that feeling of exploration and finding something.
Yeah, and that's all dry, Al, huh?
It is, actually, yeah. Dude, this is rad.
Send it!
Send it, bruh. Take it on home. We'll meet you up there.
I'm just like almost speechless.
Who's got the peace pipe? Who's got the... This is cool, man. I mean, this is a fucking cave in North Dakota.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly.
I'm from Oregon originally, came out to North Dakota about 4 years ago. I've never met anyone here until today, so it's pretty exciting.
We found like an entire new crag that might be just as big, if not bigger, as Square Sentinel.
This means we're gonna have probably a whole nother chapter of just one area, which is super exciting.
Pretty productive day, kind of surprising.
Yeah, we got what we need.
So we pieced out and we headed to another area that might have some rock climbing. So you're up to the Killdeer Mountains, and there's a ton of rock here. I feel like we're a group of kindergartners on some kind of scavenger hunt. Like, as soon as one kindergartner's like, oh, there's the next clue, like, everyone's like, oh shit, there's the next clue. I'm like, boom, 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 boogie's like, oh, there's the next boulder. Like, so everyone goes to the next boulder. It's like, oh man, this is super cool. Like, oh wait, what's that? Does that boulder have a crack in it over there? Holy crap. Super great find. After this, I'm thinking this is the most successful trip we've had.
It's the first time I've climbed in 5 years, so connecting with these people it's a big deal for me. I never expected to climb anything other than artificial rock in North Dakota.
This was like a perfect illustration of the goal of the work we've been putting out there is to show locals from our home state that there's other things to do outside other than to golf and hunt. And to see people already being able to utilize work we've done and get to experience the same things that I've experienced when I thought I was in the middle of nowhere unable to climb was pretty special. And it gave me a lot of reassurance that going on this doomed trip and building this small guidebook for this terrible rock climbing area is absolutely worth it.
Printing turned out awesome. Content looks really good. Maps, photos turned out spectacular. I can't believe how great we did.
So now that the book is printed and it's finished, Dakota moved out, and so by Dakota moving out, he kind of ended Upham life. So for the record, Dakota ruined Upham life.
As we go our separate ways, we'll all be moving on to bigger and better adventures. It's important not to become complacent and let your life stagnate. But sometimes, I don't think we realize until we've moved on just how special the times we had were. And that's why we take pieces of them with us, so we can always go back. Back to the places where we spent the best days of our lives. To our home states, to shitty Midwest towns, to overcrowded apartments, and not least of all, to small walls.
I don't have the answers that I have been pretending that I do. A vacancy inside of me, wondering if the words I say are true. Standing here, is it clear? I don't know where I'm going, but if I say I'm leaving, would you carry on without me when I go? Say that you'll come with me, we can both be lost together, together, not alone. Now that you've seen the side of me, would you be there beside me if I pray? But here I am, without a plan, but in the end I know we'll be okay. Standing here, is it clear? I don't know where we're going, but if I say I'm leaving, would you carry on without me when I go? Say that you'll come with me, we can both be lost together, together, not alone. Tell me if you care, and after all your questions, would you meet me there? If I say I'm leaving, would you carry on without me when I go? Say that you'll come with me, we can both be lost together, together. And if I say I'm leaving, would you carry on without me when I go? Oh, say that you'll come with me, we can both be lost together, together, not alone. We can both be lost together, together, not alone.
Yeah, I think we got it. All right. I got one closing off.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. Fuck you, Dakota. Yeah, that's closing off. That could be like the after the title screen or after the credits roll. That'd be sick. Or bonus footage or something. You know. Oh wait, I got one. Fuck you, Dakota. You don't even listen to Slipknot. Yeah. Don't let him retaliate, because then he has to make another movie.